Hi, folks. Doing something different today. I'm sending this video instead of a written Standing Stone update for you folks. I, uh, it's new for me. I'd rather write. Let's put it that way. But I just wanted to give you an idea of what I've been keeping busy with this week. I've had a couple of Standing Stone meetings. I have one more on Friday. I have a new person I'm meeting with. Let's see, a week from Monday. I've got my second meeting with another pastor next week. I had a large group opportunity a week ago today at this time. I was invited by the what they call the mission directors in the Southern Baptist Church to come speak to a group of pastors last Thursday morning, and I one of my meetings is set up from that. I'm was really thrilled by the fact that that mission director himself had benefited from the ministry of Standing Stone several years ago when he was going through a difficult time. So just wanted to give you an idea of what I was doing in these areas. Your giving is so very appreciated. I wouldn't be able to do any of these things because I wouldn't have the open door. I wouldn't have the resources to go and to be with people. So I want to thank you so much for your support, and not only your financial support, but I'm really asking for your prayer support. If we come near the end of the year, I've got two things going on with Standing Stone and several things going on elsewhere, and going to give you an update on all those things. Let me start with the elsewhere. Some of you know I like to write, and earlier this year I released a book about prayer called "Teach Us to Pray Today," and it's been well received. As a matter of fact, when I was at that event with us Southern Baptist pastors last week, I'd given a copy of that book to the mission director, and he highly recommended it to his group, and told them that it was definitely worth their time to get. I gave away my last of my own copies of that book at that meeting. Also, so that's yesterday. Today and going forward, I'm working on my third novel. I'm a crazy man trying to write novels. The first time I tried to write a novel, I said, I'm never going to get through this. It's not going to work. It won't be long enough. Instead, I wrote the book Nereus, my first novel. Here's a copy. Yeah, I'm still shocked about how thick it is, and it's based on a person who is mentioned by the Apostle Paul in Romans chapter 16, and someone asked me, what do we know about these people in Romans 16? And I said, not much. And they said, sure, it'd be interesting to know more. And that was the seed of the thought that led to the novel. And sometime after that, I wrote a novel not set in ancient times, but in the recent past, about a young man who comes back from Afghanistan and wants to go to law school, but the university insists he goes to this seminar first, and that seminar becomes a life-changing experience for him. And that's called The Shape of Reality. But the third novel goes back to the biblical world. And one biblical figure I've always been interested in is Philip the Evangelist. And I am writing his story. Obviously, it's historical fiction. There are a lot of things I say about Philip and other people that I have no way of knowing if they're true or not, but that's what happens when you write a novel. You have to build the story up. And it's already been a great deal of fun. Yeah, it's fun to write this. And it looks like it's going to end up about the length of Nereus. Looks like it's going to be a pretty thick book. Shape of Reality is more like about 2/3 the length of that. But so I'm working on that. I also do a small group for the church we attend, Catalina Church North in Tucson. And unfortunately, I've spoiled these people, and they expect really good Bible studies. So I'm constantly having to work on that. We're finishing a Bible study on biblical genre, and this coming Monday night we're going to be doing the apocalyptic genre, the apocalypse, like the Book of Revelation. But we're going to go into a short study, Advent study, and then the first of the year it might be First Peter. Not sure. We'll see when we get there. But so I have a life outside of Standing Stone. But getting back to Standing Stone, it is so interesting to work with pastors. Um, People think pastors live blessed and separate lives, and they don't. They have the same life you do. So I've been encountering terrible tragedies in people's past and present. Um, Pastors' families have the same trials and tribulations that everyone else's families have, and that's been really an interesting part of the process. I kind of live sort of a charmed existence as far as really terrible things happening in my immediate family life, and just hearing these stories, um, issues about mental health and sexual assaults and all kinds of things that are in the that form the background buzz of these pastors' lives that they're dealing with. It's just been humbling and fascinating process, but it is so gratifying to sit down with a pastor, and especially after a couple of meetings, to get to the point where they're saying, I really look forward to this. This is clear. This time together is clarifying for me. I hear God speak to me through these meetings. I mean, there's nothing better. I mean, there's just nothing better, because I know that it's not just impacting them and their family. I also know that it's impacting the lives of all the people that they minister to. And that's the thing that keeps me going with Standing Stone. Because as a pastor, I know that when I'm going through things, the church is kind of going through things too. And what I mean by that is, it's not like I go to work and I, made widgets, and the quality of widgets I made didn't matter too much on how I was doing in my soul. Now, when you're ministering into people's lives, the quality of what's going on in your life is reflected in what happens um, in your wider ministry. That you're bolder, freer, you're able to hear the Holy Spirit better when these things that are inside have been dealt with, that they've been brought before God and before another human being. So I just want to thank you so much for giving me the ability to do this kind of thing. I have in the past worked with pastors, and one of my greatest concerns that when I was looking at retirement was, oh Lord, I just want the opportunity to continue to work with pastors somehow. And you give me the ability to do that. But it's not, it may bless me, but it's primarily about blessing them and blessing their churches. So, pray for the pastors and Christian leaders that I work with, that they are being blessed by these things, that they're receiving that freedom that comes from the Spirit, and that you are having a hand in making happen. Okay, thank you so very much for that. God bless you. I want you to know that I'm always here for you. You need me for something, I'm right there. I love communicating and somehow bringing blessing into the lives of my spiritual and financial supporters. So if there's anything I can do for you, please don't hesitate for one hot little second to let me know. I tell you what, I'll even put my phone number in the email in case you don't have it. And until we see each other again, God bless you. You have a blessed day. Okay. Bye now.